Well, I've got Reese Jones. He's one of our returning defensive players, one of the leading tacklers in 5A last year from a linebacker position. And then Jordan Dingle here. He's a tight end. Will play some defensive end for us this year, has multiple FBS offers, and is weighing out his options to make a college choice, a big part of our offense. Oh, and they're both 4.0 students, high ECT scores. I'd like to have about 30 or 40 of them.
Well, Coach, just kind of talk a little bit about, obviously we probably don't have enough time to all the changes that you've made, but how are things going and how have you structured your practices so far?
Well, protocol's pretty tight, but we have it down to science now. We've been doing it since June 15th. From the check-in of our kids at our gate, temperature check, questions every day. Our coaches are masked up. When I hand them water bottles, we've got gloved hands. We're kind of in a routine with that, and they're working hard. We've got a great coaching staff. We're putting them through pretty strenuous workout routine, but beyond some throwing and catching here and there, we're really biting at the bit to start some real football type preparation, and hopefully that's on the horizon for us.
Coach, can you talk a little about scheduling, not just one Louisville powerhouse in St. X, but also Trinity and both away games this year?
I keep telling everybody that's old news. I had to throw that schedule together on the last minute when I was named head coach, and it's tough to schedule at our place. There's not a lot of people that want to play us. No, for my first 2 years as head coach at Bowling Green High, I would not have put that actual schedule together. But having said that, I think that schedule was really important for us last year and our ability to win the region and go as far as we did in the playoffs. So there's always that fear of possible injury in games like that, but there was very few weeks where we had to worry about getting our team up for a game. There was a lot of excitement in our field house and preparation for these quality teams we play on our schedule.
In that same vein, Coach, talk about just the struggle of trying to reschedule a couple of weeks after all the decisions made by the case of the Lakers.
Yeah, there was the curveball of the additional week, and I was desperate, trying to find somebody to fit into that, because by no means did we want to, have an open week before we started the playoffs, but we were able to find Hoptown and Coach Clayton. And then, what normally I would not schedule a game for fall break, our school system, Warren County school system, are still going to have a fall break with thought from myself, our coaching staff, our superintendent, our principal. We decided it would be a good year to have a game during fall break so that, at least for our core of players, they'll stay in town with us and possibly not venture out to a state somewhere that they might have to be quarantined when they return. So, yeah, it puts some people in a bind. They've made vacation plans and things like that, but this is just a different year. And, at this point, I want to, for our seniors, want to play as many games as we can. So we filled that date.
For the players, obviously you guys want to play football, but just kind of talk about what is it like knowing that this is kind of hanging over us, and how do you go about your day-to-day preparation, and do you think a lot about playing or maybe not playing?
You can go ahead.
All right. It could be stressful at times, but you got to stay positive through these times, and just day to day, just got to tell yourself and encourage your teammates to stay positive and look to hope to have a season. So, yes, sir.
I'd say the same thing. Like you just can't think about like having the season come to an end. You got to stay positive and make sure that just stay positive.
James, did you have to bring these guys maybe a couple years in and explain that part of the role as leaders as captains?
Our seniors know that coming up in our program that they're going to set the tone. It's something that Coach Haley started a long time ago in our program, and I'm not one to change good things within the program. Put a lot of pressure on our seniors. I talk it from the beginning of winter program that whatever happens this year will be because of our seniors, good, bad, or otherwise. And so they know, they hear my message. And the message I keep saying is if we have a season, you need to be prepared. So these workouts are important. We need to put our time in. Every opportunity they're giving us, make sure we're prepared, because if we have a season, we want to be ready to go. If they call it off, we have no control over that. That'll happen if it happens. But all we're thinking and talking about is getting ourselves ready, looking at our schedule. We're going to go to PRP on September 11th, and we better be ready to go when that happens.
I mean, as seniors, have any of you guys talked to the seniors from the spring who, had everything in that quick? And have they given you guys any advice on how to handle this as you kind of wait for what happens here with this football season?
I haven't really talked to any of them, but I don't know.
I've talked to a couple of guys, and they've just kind of expressed their grief with us, but telling us to stay positive as well, and just making sure we're getting after it.
Coach, the 24th kicks off, I think, the week of 7.5 hours worth of practice that week, and then you kind of transition into helmet pads and so forth. Logistically, do you think that's enough time to get guys ready for full contact? And do you think there's any concern on injuries because of that short window?
If we've been using these workouts and utilizing that time, that shouldn't be a factor. Really, that's about the window we have before our first scrimmage. And I know we're talking the difference between a scrimmage and a real game. Fatigue could be a factor with that first game. But we as coaches agree if we can have that window and we have to get our 5 practices in with helmets, transition to 3 practices with helmet and shoulder pads, then we can go full gear, mix it up a little bit, get acclimated to that. It was just agreed by all of us that are on the Football Coaches Association that was a good enough window for us. We can't scrimmage now. Those have been eliminated. We had a couple with Hoptown and Louisville Male that we've done for the past couple of years, but that was discussed. Do we need a scrimmage? Yeah, we could probably use it. A team of our size, we can do some inter-squad. Some of our smaller schools, they had a concern because it's hard for them to create an inter-squad situation. But at the end of the day, we're trying to have the ability to play this season. So, we just keep telling ourselves over and over. It's what Julian Tackett keeps saying. 2020 is like no other. So let's think outside the box, be flexible in what we're thinking. I think our kids' safety is foremost, whether it be with COVID or the safety of football. So, no decisions are going to be made that will endanger them there.
Coach, there's so much preparation in coaching even before you throw in what's going on now. I mean, how much is that, as a coaching staff, even added to all the responsibility of preparing for this season?
Well, we're such control freaks. We love to have our schedule up. Usually when January rolls around, I've got our whole calendar planned until the state championship games in December, and now that's out of our hands. So at the same time, a lot of us coaches have had a lot of time on our hands, countless Zoom meetings and clinics, and we've got so many great ideas, but we eventually have to get our team in to try to utilize some of those. And, we've also wrapped our mind around what if, they only allow us to bring in 40 or 50 kids at a time. How are we going to be flexible in how we use our locker rooms? We already run a spread offense, so there's no huddling going on. I joke that we've lost the ability to huddle, and we no longer get under center anymore. So, heck, you don't have to worry about that. There's no touching going on there. So I'm not sure once we take that step to put helmets on the 24th, hopefully the 24th, the big meeting is this week coming up on the 20th, Border Control. They'll look at our numbers in Kentucky, and they'll give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down on the plans that have been laid out. But, eventually we're going to have to get into bigger groups if we're going to play a football season and kick off on the 11th. So we'll see what kind of protocols they put forth at that time.
How confident are you at this moment from where you guys stand in general?
I don't know about us starting the 24th with our numbers in Kentucky. I'm not an expert. There's so many people out there that are trying to act like they know the facts, and I have no handle on on the science behind the numbers and the math that's done for that. I've got a general, but that's not my job. So, you know, I tend to try to stay positive. Let's get ready. Here are the dates we have now, and if they move the dates, we'll adjust and we'll deal with that. Lord knows we've done that to this point. So, you know, on any given day, you can hear that they've canceled the season and that we're full bore. We'll be going September 11th. I think the truth is somewhere in between there. We'll see.
James, have any parents or kids just say, point blank, I'm not gonna play this year?
No, we haven't had that issue.
For the players, how important is it that you guys play this football season?
It's everything for me. Just being at my senior year, like I played football for like since I was like 5. So like I don't know, it just means everything to play football one last year.
Same thing for me. This is senior year. You only get one senior year. It's very big. Been playing since I was a kid, and just won a state championship before I leave high school. So.
And then for the players, just what was y'all's reaction when KHSAA at least came out with this is the target start date for you all for practice and the start of the season?
It was just, I was happy about it and just gave me some hope. So.
Same thing for me. Just really excited. Hopefully we can get to play.
How much do you think you guys can build up what you did last year, that run you made? You know, obviously, you talked about the schedule kind of pressed you for that, but, you know, get up there to Lake up and Catholic, pretty tough there. Just how much do you think you can build up that going into this year?
Well, we were doing a great job of building on that through winter and early spring. I was impressed with how our kids were working. These are just 2 of 22 seniors we have. They're another special group. I really like being around them. It's a good atmosphere in our locker room when we're in a locker room. It's been a while, but I mean, I think we have the potential to be good this year, but once again, we didn't have spring practice. We haven't had any really true football activities to this point, so right now it's just a thought that we could be good, but I really like this group of kids. You know, for lack of a better word, it'll be heartbreaking if we don't play. I know it'll be for the right reasons, but you know, I'm really pulling for the fact that we can get on the field with this crew and see what we can do this year.
Coach, thank you very much, Reese.
Thanks, guys, for
No
doing this
problem.
for us.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it. I hope that we're all talking to each other after games and such, and leading up to games, and that'll be great.